The exhibition I'm about to introduce to you reveals the work I have chosen for this year's Collect. The Crafts Council will be hosting their first virtual iteration of this well-established international art fair. It is an exciting step forward for all of us. The VIP previews open on the 24th of February. This exhibition will be on show here until May the 31st. It spans a wide range of exceptional work, which might well raise questions in your mind, and I rather hope it does. I hope you will enjoy it. The Micheluzzi sisters, Elena and Margherita. They have a sharp sense of design, devoted to Venice as is their father Massimo Micheluzzi. Their choices of colour are both exuberant and subtle. The objects they design are made freehand by skilled artisan glassworkers on Murano. The sacco vases are blown, then cool into a natural state of collapse, encouraged by some hand-induced indents. The iridescence is introduced at the end of the making process. The work can be viewed as sculptural or functional. It is both. Vittorio Constantini. He is a master lampworker. His powers of observation and accuracy are both outstanding. The more realistic, the better. This is what he's renowned for. The details are wonderfully crafted. Next are Tanya Pack's Breaths. These are conceptual pieces, surreal and ethereal. They are made of crystal glass covered in opaline, blown by a skilled team of 3 makers and Tanya in the Czech Republic. More of Tanya's exquisitely fine glasswork. These are also white opaque glass over crystalline. Some have black interiors. She has carved the outsides of the bowls, giving them a gentle texture. They are aptly called cloudy bowls. John Ward has a large hand-built bowl decorated with deep slips of cobalt blue, iron brown and black manganese. An interesting form showing 2 semicircular flanges with indents either side, just lifting the form out of the ordinary into a sophisticated piece whose origins could well have emanated from Japan. Pippin Drysdale is a celebrated Australian potter. She has been given numerous awards. Her work is a blend of vivid colours, mango, lime, tangerine, sunsets and sunrises from her Australian landscape, an enduring inspiration to her work. These vessels are made in porcelain with distinct areas of inlaid lines. James Oughtybridge is presenting some small black maquettes which work on many scales. They are pleasing sculptural forms to hold or enjoy as a forerunner to his accomplished larger works, one of which is exhibited outside. Stefan Dam has presented a magnificent cabinet of curiosities. In his own words, in German it is called Wunderkammer, not meaning a wonderful chamber, but rather a chamber of wonders, things you don't understand. And I'm fascinated by that idea. Stefan makes mistakes which he keeps in his little petri bowl and cultivates. His words again, my stimulus comes from accidents. In fact, he is a master of accidents and revels in them. We have to make everything very slim because a cylinder is a one-dimensional magnifying glass. It means that the object inside it will be magnified sideways, but not height-wise. My pieces are born. They are taken from books, they are stolen from my colleagues, they are taken from museums, and they always, at first, turn out very badly. In the interview that Stefan had with Grant Gibson, Grant posed the question, do you always have a concept before you start? Stefan replied, I am starting with an idea. I start with a desire to communicate. These cabinets are rare. They should be seen in museums, universities, all over the world. They are a source of endless fascination and wonderment. Here is a pot by Elizabeth Fritch, a simple and wonderfully subtle pot. The form is neither flat nor square, anywhere. The subtle curves on the body and almost organic surface texture, made alive by tiny green dots of copper, all different sizes here and there. The body is very present in this piece. It's lightly textured. The elegant neck is made on the oblique angle and has 3 bands of colour. It is sublimely understated. Hattori Makiko has a different aesthetic. That is why I have placed these 2 pieces side by side. Hers is a meditative piece, yet highly decorated on the textured surface. She rolls tiny strips of porcelain and embeds them into the surface of the form she has made in thick porcelain. It is obsessive, and she says she likes to get into that zone. The result is extremely calming. Natasha Daintree, having had experience of industrial ceramics, now utilises this knowledge to build up groups of minimalistic cylinders. She shapes the tapering rims very finely, and they act as a vehicle for her outstanding colour sense, working one against the other to make us see colour in a new way. She completed a large installation at Chatsworth entitled Sewing Colour in 2018. Susie Thompson is looking for expressions of movement which are captured in time by memories in her life. The simple materials of jute twine and waxed linen thread are unrecognisably transformed into textile sculpture which dances as it turns and turns on a stage or a table. This piece is called Clochna Ben Strides Forth. This still life is one of Gregory Warren Wilson's pieces. It's called Homage, and it is very abstract, layered glass, many layers of glass, deep set. Slightly different from his other glass mosaics in that it's sheets of glass. And the homage refers to Ben Nicholson and also to Cavafy, a 20th century Greek poet. And there is a poem attached to the back of it. And it is relating so nicely to Halima Cassell's concentric circles. Red because the bronze has been patinated to this colour. They look as though they're just meant to be together. Halima Cassell, here she is carving in clay. This is verbal and the other one is velocity. They are come as a pair, and as you can see, they're intricately carved. It's a wonderful geometric design in a very strong grogged body, and they're just as good on the underside as they are on the inside. Halima's very talented indeed. She works in all sorts of materials: glass, clay, bronze, wood and concrete. This is the white piece. Her work's in many museums, and she was awarded the MBE this year. I spent 3 years working with Michael Cardew. He built 5 potteries, 3 in Africa. I was lucky enough to be with him in his late 70s. He was a delightfully determined, eccentric, funny and intelligent human being. You can sense his use of clay here in the stem cups, which we used to drink coffee from in the morning at Oughtybridge, and soup from at supper time, which consisted of leftover vegetable water, reduced. 3 early pieces, one from his museum, made at Winchcombe. The museum piece is decorated with sgraffito, an ear of wheat or barley. The stool is derived from an African basket pattern and the lily pattern design he's used on top. Most important in his mind was always integrity and honesty to materials. You can see how strong this work is and how vital. Gregory Warren Wilson's innovative designs in glass are vividly colourful. He uses glass from Murano and works on multiple layers of glass set in deep frames. Light interacts spatially with the glass, enabling it to sparkle and scintillate. Gregory is presenting a group of 5 pieces. They represent a poem he has quite specifically responded to, called Sea Surface Full of Clouds by Wallace Stevens. And I think whoever acquires it will be extremely lucky. It's a rare idea and a rare piece of beautiful work. Tracy Rowlage, bookbinder and fine artist, has made a different piece for this exhibition. It's called The Space in Between. It's a leather-covered wall panel, tooled in gold leaf. You can tell at a glance that this is painstakingly precise work. Rupert Spyra made stoneware. He was a superb thrower. He's still alive, but he's now a spiritual teacher. He made pure, minimal forms with sophisticated glazes, beautifully finished. He was always scrupulously attentive to detail and has set exceptionally high standards in his craft and art practice. John Ward is also featuring in this cabinet with two beautiful pieces that are handmade, obviously, and one has a black manganese slip fired very high so that it almost looks like bronze, and a white piece that goes with it. They make a beautiful pair. I thought it might be an idea to wind up with 3 pieces by grandmasters, 2 by Lucie Rie and 1 by William Staite Murray. I'm going to start with this bowl of Lucie's. So we were always told at Wenford with Michael Cardew that a bowl springs from its foot, and there's an energy in it there that will give it life or not. And that, of course, the foot, the relationship of the foot to the rim is extremely important. This is a very generous shape. This piece has been made by throwing, squeezing and fluting. The squeezing gives it a rapturously beautiful, lyrical rim, but it flows in the most wonderful undulations. You feel very close to the material because you can see on the inside where she has fluted, where the tool has gone. There's a shadow and a memory of that movement. And on the outside, you see each division is slightly different and very much handmade. It also has an elusive mist of green in this glaze. At first I thought it was grey, and then I realised it was green with a soft, mysterious green that comes and goes. And it's verging on the volcanic glazes that she used. It's just beginning to pit on the outside more than on the inside. It's a very lovely piece, and the foot is revealed and cleaned at the bottom, so you see where the glaze finishes, and that's the final start and finish to the piece. I'm going to move on to another form of hers. Again, it's squeezed with the volcanic glaze. And this is just classical, very understated Lucie. So she's thrown the piece generously with thick clay, and when she gets to the point of finishing it on the rim, she then squeezes it. So it's no longer a vase that is just a thrown round vase. It's become an abstract sculptural form. And the glaze she uses is quite beautiful. It verges between yellow and white and cream and grey. It's entirely satisfying. The rim has a slightly warmer ochre touch to it, and the foot has this lovely thick dribble of the volcanic glaze at the bottom, and of course her signature, which is slightly obscured. That is a very fine piece. And finally, something I think we all need more of. It's entitled Sun and Air, S-U-N and A-I-R. It's by William Staite Murray, who was the first in amongst Bernard's colleagues to call his pieces by titles. And he was very in the crowd with Ben Nicholson, Winifred Nicholson, so he kept company with fine artists, and he considered his craft as a fine art. And certainly the decoration is very lovely. So the sunflower is just alive and full of good iron colour. The birds are magnificent. You might meet them in a dream somewhere, and the clouds. And the balloon, the hot air balloon, why not? I just think this pot is full of happiness and joy, and that's what we all need more of. Thank you for watching. I never expected to give a private view of Collect 2021 from my gallery in my home. I hope you've enjoyed it. Do come and see it in the flesh if you can. The exhibition will be on view here until May the 31st. I can promise you it will be an enriching experience. Finally, I'd like to thank all the artists for their unfailing commitment and generosity of spirit in presenting their work, which we are so privileged to enjoy.